You've probably heard this verse before. If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Or, if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. For a lot of people, those words have created fear, shame, and confusion. Some were even taught to think of God as someone who expects extreme self-punishment in exchange for holiness. But what if that's not what Jesus meant at all? What if this verse was never about mutilation, never about fear, and never about trying harder, but about freeing people from a system that could never save them? To understand what Jesus was doing, we have to step into his audience. He was speaking to people who still lived under the Mosaic law, an all-encompassing system of commandments, rituals, purity rules, and behavioral expectations. These people had been raised to believe that their relationship with God depended entirely on their ability to obey perfectly. It was a world where righteousness meant performance, and failure meant fear. Jesus steps into that world and does something brilliant. He takes their entire self-effort structure and pushes it to its breaking point. He exposes something that nobody had the courage to say out loud. You cannot make yourself righteous. Not with effort. Not with obedience. Not even with extreme discipline. So when Jesus says, if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off, he isn't saying, be more intense about purity. He's saying something far more confrontational. If you think holiness comes from managing your behavior, then follow that logic all the way. Cut off whatever causes sin. Cut off whatever fails. Cut off whatever tempts you. And see how much of yourself is left. It's not morality. It's not advice. It's not instruction. It's exposure. He's exposing the illusion that people can make themselves righteous. He's revealing the futility of self-salvation. He's publicly dismantling the idea that human effort can produce holiness. Here's the truth. If Jesus meant this literally, every disciple would have been missing hands and eyes. Nothing in Scripture suggests they even considered it, because they knew. His point wasn't mutilation. His point was impossibility. He wanted them to feel the weight of the law they were trusting in. He wanted them to see, if you want the law to make you righteous, this is how extreme you'd have to be. And even then, it wouldn't work. Jesus wasn't raising the bar. He was breaking the ladder. This interpretation becomes even clearer when we look at another verse. Religion has often weaponized. If you break one law, you've broken all of it. This verse has been used to terrify people, to make them feel as if a single mistake makes them guilty of every commandment in the Bible. But this verse is not describing God's attitude. It is describing the structure of the law itself. The law is a single, unified system. It doesn't grade on a curve. It doesn't accept partial credit. It doesn't reward sincerity. It demands perfection. If you rely on the law to make you righteous, then one wrong motive, one moment of anger, one stray thought, one lapse in consistency, and you fall under the category of lawbreaker. James isn't saying, try harder. He's saying, this system is impossible. Don't put your trust in it. He is warning people away from a structure that collapses under its own requirements. Every time you try to be righteous through effort, through discipline, through behavior, or through willpower, you step back into that all or nothing world. And that world has only two categories: perfect or condemned. That is why Jesus uses such extreme language. He isn't pushing people deeper into the law. He's pushing them out of it. He is saying, if you want the law to save you, go ahead. Follow it to its logical conclusion. Cut off whatever fails. Cut off whatever tempts you. Cut off everything that isn't perfect. And by the end of that journey, you would have nothing left but shame and fear. Because the law cannot make you righteous. It can only show you where you fall short. Jesus uses the knife metaphor not to demand mutilation, but to reveal that a system built on self-improvement cannot heal the human soul. This theme appears again in the parable of the unforgiving servant. The king forgives a debt so massive that repayment is impossible. The servant walks away still thinking in terms of debt, merit, and scorekeeping. And the torment that follows isn't divine punishment. It's the internal anguish of trying to live in two kingdoms at once. When you try to mix grace with legalism, your inner world tears, because those two systems cannot coexist. Grace is a gift. Legalism is a wage. Grace is acceptance. Legalism is achievement. Grace is identity. Legalism is effort. Jesus wasn't trying to turn people into spiritual surgeons. He was trying to liberate them from the crushing weight of self-righteousness. He wanted them to see you were never meant to save yourself. You were never meant to perfect yourself. You were never meant to carry your own righteousness. So what was he inviting them into? A new kingdom. A kingdom where righteousness is not earned, but given. Not achieved, but received. Not maintained, but bestowed. He wanted them to hear. You do not need to cut off your hand. You need to cut off your belief that righteousness comes from effort. Because in the kingdom, Jesus announced, righteousness is not a reward for good behavior. Righteousness is a gift that flows from union with Him. It is something you wake up to, not something you build. It is something you discover, not something you manufacture. It is something God gives freely, not something you must earn. And when you begin to see that, something remarkable happens. The fear attached to Scripture begins to dissolve. The shame that religion piled on you begins to break apart. The impossible weight of being good enough lifts from your shoulders. You begin to breathe again. You begin to rest again. You begin to trust again. If this verse ever scared you, if it was ever used to control you or shame you or make you question your worth, hear this clearly. Jesus never intended to harm you. He intended to release you from the burden of saving yourself. He never asked you to cut off your hand. He asked you to cut off the lie that you must make yourself holy. You already belong. You already are held. You already are righteous in Him. Grace does not demand perfection. Grace supplies it.